Hey everyone, I'm Dino Budala, and welcome to tonight's Dino Budala Show on SiriusXM channel 127. It is Tuesday, October 5th, and the headlines today are a jaw-dropping testimony in Senate by a Facebook whistleblower who had worked there for several years, who had worked in other social media outlets before that. And we learned from this testimony, from her appearance on 60 Minutes on Sunday, and really importantly, from actual documents that she got from Facebook when she worked there and gave them to the Wall Street Journal, who wrote remarkable articles about it, that Frances Haugen has painted a picture for us of what Facebook is doing. And, you know, in the past, there's been discussion, should it be regulated, should they not be regulated? The reality is Facebook is a threat to children, to teenagers, and to our democracy. That's exactly what they are. And they know it. And they don't care because they profit from it. That's what we learned, because the internal documents in regards first to teens and preteens shows that they understood that images, especially on Instagram, were being destructive to teens and preteens, especially young girls. Seeing these images, having body image questions, having questions driving them to depression, even they can quantify suicidal attempts that they think are linked to people talking about their experience on Instagram. They knew all of this and they lied. They said that wasn't happening. They knew it was happening. Their own internal reports show that. Then when you get to democracy, it's very clear that Facebook is contributing to the division in this country. Now, Facebook did not create the division, but they helped amplify it. And they amplified it for a simple reason: profit. That's it, profit. As we learned from documents that were released and from testimony as well, Facebook understood that angry, hateful comments are the ones that get the most clicks. And while they understood that was destructive, the reason they amplified those through their algorithm was simply this: they found the more angry, the more hateful comments, the more people engaged, more people stayed online for a longer time, meaning more ad sales, more revenue for a company that has almost $100 billion in revenue last year. $100 billion. But it's all about profits. It's all they care about. So they're helping heighten the divide in our country. And then regarding the last election, as we learned, they had this civic integrity group that was supposed to monitor garbage and misinformation about the election leading up to the election day, which they actually kept intact and did that. Right after the election, they got rid of it. And then it was used, Facebook was used by Trump and Trump supporters to amplify more lies around the election, used to recruit and organize for January 6th terrorist attack. It's from the actual criminal pleadings we know Facebook was used as a platform to help amplify and prepare for that attack on January 6th. Also, we learned other countries in Europe, Western democracies, complained to Facebook a few years ago saying, what you've done to your algorithm is to amplify the most hateful, divisive topics. And the result is, if we want any of our content to get noticed in your algorithm and amplified, we have to follow that. We have to be more extreme. And you're hurting our politics and hurting our nation as well. There's no doubt that Facebook is destructive. The analogy today was big tobacco. You might recall, and I think it's pretty accurate analogy, you might recall big tobacco had lied about the addictiveness of nicotine. Their own executives testified before Congress saying, no, it's not addictive. They lied for years saying there was no downside health-wise to cigarettes, even at one point saying cigarettes are good for you. They created their own institute, fake institute, to counter the real experts, to tell you tobacco smoking wasn't bad. Once it was all discovered to be a lie that they knew about, they were hit with a massive lawsuits by attorney generals across the country and entered into a settlement of billions and billions and billions of dollars. Also, there was more regulation on warning labels and advertising that these cigarette companies could do. Facebook knows they are dangerous. They know they are potentially deadly for human beings, teens especially, and preteens, and for our democracy. There are various proposals out there in Congress right now to regulate them, from dealing with breaking them up as a monopoly because they own Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, to things more about content, to getting rid of Section 230 immunity. We'll talk about all that on my show today in more detail, and I really want to hear from people. Viscerally, what do you want to see happen to Facebook? What should be done to protect teens, preteens, and our democracy? It's unreal for one company to have this much power in this nation and be essentially unregulated, to spew garbage and to always choose not what's good for society, not what's good for our young people, what's good for profits. And profiting off peddling misinformation and potentially death should not be allowed. Fox News is bad enough. We have Facebook, which is potentially even more dangerous. So we'll cover that more in my show. My show's live 6 to 9 p.m. If you don't subscribe to SiriusXM, go to the website. There are free trials. Check it out. 6 to 9 p.m. Then join us. Give me a call. Be a part of our family. We got a lot of work to do. Remember, if you want democracy, stay active. It's up to us. Thanks for tuning into the preview of tonight's Dino Buidala Show.